Right, Shanna.
Hello interwebs and welcome back. I'm Shanna.
And I'm Charlotte.
And this is where I share my life and stories and adventures and opinions and whatever else I feel like. And today we are here to give you our summary and opinions on Thailand. So, first, we're going to talk about lodging. So we stayed at 2 hostels.
One in Bangkok and then one down in Krabi.
The one in Bangkok, while it was really, really cute, and I definitely enjoyed like the atmosphere and the staff was really nice.
Very good location, like near
Fantastic.
Khao San Road.
There was no air conditioning. And maybe in winter, I think that would be fine. But
It's always hot in Bangkok.
yeah, but coming from Japan in March, it was still cold here. And we got to the hostel and the fans were really helpful. I was really glad that we had them. But that first night when I was still kind of adjusting and I was used to the cold of Japan, I laid down in that bed and I felt nauseous. Because I was like, it's so hot. I like to sleep with a cooler room. And I had come from the cold. And so I just laid there and I was like, I'm gonna vomit.
Shanna was... Fortunately, she didn't. Shanna was also on the bottom bunk there, so the fan probably didn't reach you as well as it did me.
Well, we had little
At the
ones
top.
on the bottom.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had little personal ones. They didn't have a lot of punch to them, but
okay.
it was something.
Well,
So.
when you're booking a hostel, you can check that. It will say AC specifically, and maybe you pay $1 or $2 more for it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it because I was like, oh, you know, it's March. Yeah, it'll be hotter there, but I didn't think it would be as hot as it was.
Right. Something to
So.
keep in mind when you're searching AC or fan room.
And you need to make sure if you have other things that need to be refrigerated to ask if there's a refrigerator or a freezer. And we'll get into more of that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hostel in Krabi.
Had great air conditioning.
Fantastic air conditioning.
Yes, and it also had curtains on the bed.
Yeah.
Which I usually look for in pictures.
Love that.
Because even if there are, there were a ton of beds in the room. Like 12 at least.
We had the room to ourselves though.
That was amazing. Yeah, we got so lucky with that. We had the room to ourselves. But even if it is full, having that curtain makes like such a difference because you just have like a small square of privacy.
Yeah, and that hostel was really nice. It was a really like put together hostel, very clean.
But it also wasn't very social.
Right, but I think part of that was because we were there during the full moon.
Right.
And the full moon parties were on the other side of Thailand.
It was like the tide. All the backpackers went like the tide to the full moon party.
Yeah, as soon as we got there.
However, while you're searching for a hostel, if social or if party is what you want, then you kind of have to feel that out in the comments. Because I know there was one called Slumber Party people were staying at that was like a big party.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
depending on what you want.
Yeah.
It was a really nice place to go sleep and rest.
And it wasn't far from the beach. Not bad. It was in like the Muslim area, so it had a lot of really interesting culture.
And good food.
Good food. So yeah, that was really, really enjoyable. And speaking of food,
Speaking of food,
topic number 2, food.
Thai food. Thai food.
The food in Thailand is so delicious. If you're not used to having a lot of oil in your food, maybe put some oil in your food before you go there so that way you don't get a little sick like I
Get
did.
used to it. Also pay attention to what you're ordering. If you get something that's fried, even if it's fried rice or noodles, expect that you will feel it.
Yeah.
If you're used to it, it's not a big deal.
And if you're worried about food poisoning, which I know a lot of people are when they go to these Southeast Asian countries, you're not supposed to order anything that is cooked below your knee, or keep an eye on where people are going. Because if you go to a place where there's already people there, especially if there's already foreigners there, you're more likely to not to get food poisoning.
Right, the turnover is important. Like, if they're making new things regularly versus having something that's been sitting out in the heat, in the sun, whatever.
For who knows how long.
Yeah,
So that's really important. But the food's delicious.
it's so good. Thai food has, like, such a variety of really great things.
Spices, and
Yeah.
they're really good about if you want it mild,
Uh-huh.
giving it to you mild, but it will still be a little bit spicy.
If you want to say not spicy in Thai, it's my pet.
My pet.
Yeah.
My pet. Ignore that.
You learn how to say hello, please, thank you, not spicy.
Yep, those are the most important phrases for Thailand. Anything else about food?
Don't be afraid of street food. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
it's so good.
I've never had food poisoning, and it's also a really, really cheap alternative to going to restaurants. Overall, very affordable.
Yes. Speaking of cheap. Number 3, pricing. So, you can find some really cheap hostels, cheap hotels if you're traveling with a group of people and you're able to split that. You can find cheap food. You can find cheap transportation. You can find cheap souvenirs. But don't be afraid to barter.
Right, bartering is part of the culture in a lot of these countries. So expect that the first time you're going to be given a price that's too high. So don't feel bad, don't feel guilty about being like, well, what about this price?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people don't get offended, and oftentimes people expect the haggling.
Yeah.
So give it a try. The worst thing that they can say is no.
Yeah. Shoot low, aim to meet in the middle. If they say no, they say no. Don't be afraid either to walk away, because sometimes when you walk away, they come back and they're like, actually, I'll take it
Well,
for...
yeah. It's kind of like a tactic.
Yeah.
But overall, the prices in Thailand are pretty affordable, especially if you're coming from Japan or America or a European country.
A place where that conversion rate is pretty nice.
Right.
Yeah. Topic number 4, tours.
Tours. Now, this is the exception to what we just said, I would say. Tours are not
expensive.
cheap. Yeah.
They're expensive. Especially if you try to look for them online and book them before you go.
Yeah, I would never recommend booking a tour before
Anywhere.
you go. Anywhere. Yeah. Like, in all my experiences, if you want to do a tour, you get there on the ground and you find it, like, the day before, a couple of days before. You'll get a much better deal.
Yep. Yeah. And don't be afraid to barter for the tours either. A lot of them will do that with you for the tour prices.
We got ours at a discount.
Yeah, because we went to a bunch of different places, compared the prices, and, you know, saw who we could get the lowest price with for the best deal. And also, we did find that sign in Krabi town. So we kind of stuck to one area when we were looking for these tours. If you have the ability to go to different areas and find similar types of tours, do that, because you can find some great deals that way.
Yeah, there's often, like, for boats at least, like a local option.
Yeah.
You know, where you go with a local boat, local people, and they'll offer it for you for much less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do your
keep that in mind.
research. Do your
Keep that in mind.
research.
Yeah, there's lots of blogs, lots of YouTube videos, lots of Instagram people who give lots of really good tips on tours and which ones are good, which ones are bad. And I definitely recommend looking into that. So, yeah.
As the not cheap thing, give it some thought.
Number 5, Thai people. So, when we first got to Thailand, we both kind of weren't sure because everything was really cold. Like, when I was going through the airport, even the people at the airport, and this happened to me both times that I've been there, they don't talk to you. They just kind of look at you and then go,
Yeah, like get you through.
Yeah. And then, you know, when you're meeting random people or on the street, they're just not as, like, welcoming and friendly as I'm used to being in Japan or even, you know, America. Strangers are really friendly and talkative. So we weren't really sure about that at first.
Yeah, the beginning of the trip, it was, you know, we didn't have any, like, bad experiences.
No, and we weren't
but
like,
it
we
was,
hate
like,
these people.
We don't, like, feel welcomed.
Right.
Necessarily. Nobody went out of their way to welcome us to Thailand.
But we did have a lot of experiences along the way that really showed us how loving and friendly and kind Thai people really are.
Right, and it was the longer that we were there, the more comfortable we got to.
Right.
Also, the farther south that we went, I feel like in most cases when you go to a city, people are just a little busier.
Yeah.
You know? So starting off in Bangkok, people were going about their lives. Of course, they're not going to stop to be like, hey, welcome, how are you doing today?
But there were some people who were really nice there too.
Yes.
Yes. Like the lady who took your medicine.
Yes.
So, and that leads us into topic number
6.
If you are traveling with special medications or anything that you know that you need to take care of while you're traveling, do your research.
Right, so I travel with this special medication that has to be refrigerated. It's in a nice little like insulin bag, and I have 2 ice packs that keep it cold while I'm traveling for up to 24 hours. But when I stop at a hostel, hotel, or whatever, it needs to be put into the refrigerator because this medicine has to be kept cold at all times. And when we got to the hostel in Bangkok, there was a refrigerator, however, there was no freezer. And that surprised me, but there were actually a lot of places that didn't have freezers or even refrigerators. So Shanna and I had to physically take to the streets and walk around with my little ice packs in a bag, asking the neighboring like
Restaurants,
hotels,
cafes.
restaurants, shops, whatever, like, hey, is it okay if I keep this in your freezer? Do you have a freezer?
A lot of them don't.
Most people didn't. It was like the first person we found said yes.
Yeah.
And that was super kind.
Yeah.
So another thing to look for when you're booking your hostel or your accommodation, if you need to have access to freezing or refrigeration, send them a message and ask beforehand. It's one of those things that you don't think about unless you have a problem. You have this thing.
that situation happen.
Like, Shanna was really surprised by all the stuff that I was going through for the medicine, right? You're like, wow, I never would have thought about this. So
and if you have a friend and you're traveling with a friend
I gotta do this,
who has that, yeah, so important. And it happened again in Krabi, and we got lucky there too.
Yeah,
So.
oftentimes if you have a hostel or accommodation attached to a restaurant, like if they do meals, if they're cooking for you, then they're gonna have those facilities. They're gonna have a refrigerator, maybe a freezer.
Yeah. The panic in Krabi though, when like they didn't have either a refrigerator or a freezer.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like she was being like outwardly insanely calm, but you could look at her eyes and I could tell like the panic was real. And so I did my best to try and be supportive.
Yeah, so in that case, another restaurant nearby was so kind as to let me leave my medicine and my ice packs there. But you can't just give it to anybody either,
Right.
you know, because if you get it out of your sight and it gets lost or somebody takes it, it's like you're not getting it back, and it's on you because you let it go.
Yep.
So
that's really important. Good information for our traveler friends out there. So
I have a lot of information available about that. If you need something more specific, please contact me.
Follow her.
I would be so happy to help you.
Yeah, you can follow her on Instagram, or she also has a YouTube channel that she's going to post more videos on, right, Charlotte?
Right, Shanna. You can help me while I'm here.
Obviously. I'd love to. But anyway, anything else?
Thailand's great. You should go.
Yeah, definitely go. It's a beautiful country.
It is, and compared to a lot of the other like Southeast Asian countries, it's like a beginner country because they have a lot of stuff available, a lot of Western food, whatever. The infrastructure is really good. You can get around.
Yeah.
If you're in a tourist town, people will speak English. It's a really good place to start if you're not feeling confident.
And it's one of like the first really Southeast Asian countries that has become touristy.
Right.
So
Yeah, it was one of like the first ones to be developed, so it's ahead of the others.
yeah, there's a lot of pushy salespeople, but you know, if you can get past
They
that,
can get in your business, but don't let it bother you.
Don't, because it's a beautiful. Oh, we left the air conditioning on for all this. Sorry if there's background noise. I just realized that.
That's the sound of us not being uncomfortable. I hope you enjoy it as much
slowly
as we do.
putting the melting pieces back together. But anyway, yeah, it's a beautiful country. Beautiful country.
Yeah, and we were down in the south this time. We got to see Bangkok, and then like we stepped to the islands.
Right.
But like the south and the north are really different. So next time
Chiang Mai.
we'll do a video on the north.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Mai.
be going back, and hopefully this beautiful lady will be
Chiang
going
Mai.
with me. If you want to make sure that happens, down below there are links to Patreon. There are links to the merch store. Any money that I make on those sites goes back into either equipment for making videos or specifically travel. And if we get to the point where we're making a nice little income there,
One day
I'll be able to
we'll
take another
make
one with me.
money by doing stuff like this.
Which is not the reason that we are doing this. We do this because we love it. But you know, if you want to, you can check that out. If not, that's fine. No big deal. I just love connecting with you guys and sharing all of this and answering questions and being as helpful as I can.
Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah.
Following along.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Not a usual outro, but yeah, that does pretty much wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, what type of emoji should we have them leave this time? You did so well in the last one.
Cheers. How about a big old heart? Because we love you guys. And
Multiple
each
hearts.
other. As many hearts as you want.
Hearts. Woo! Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And Charlotte will be in more adventures very soon. Bye.